Hello everybody and welcome to the first episode of my Baldur's Gate 3 Dark Urge playthrough. I have never played Dark Urge before and we're going to jump right into the intro real quick.
My rancid blood whispers to me, kill, kill, and kill again. My ruined body yearns to reap death in this world. And when this foul urge calls, it possesses my whole being. Injured beyond repair. I know nothing besides this. I must resist the dark urge, lest it consume my mind. I must discover who I was and what happened to me before my twitching knife hand writes a tragedy in blood.
Alright, and with that intro complete, we're just going to jump straight into our character creation. For this playthrough, I have decided to go with a half-elf warlock. I have not played warlock in Baldur's Gate or in regular D&D. I primarily stick to druids and clerics because I think that they're very fun and they're very versatile in their playstyle. So this will be a fun experience. But before we jump into what our expectations of this playthrough are, we are going to take a quick hit because it's not a session play without a sesh at the very beginning, right? So I hope that everybody has their bud in whatever form that they want it and joins me as we continue to get this show on the road. Cheers! that was vile. But the best kind of vile, I suppose. Alright. So now that our first hit is done, here is our guidelines for doing a session play in a Dark Urge playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3. For me personally, I will be smoking every time that my character does or thinks something that is really out of pocket. Whether it's like a choice option, something that I choose to do, something that the character just decides to say for themselves out of pocket, anything that doesn't make any sense is totally not necessary, da-da-da-da-da. That is the vibe that we are going for with this playthrough. Now, I will say, I do not plan on romancing Shadowheart this time. I have romanced Shadowheart in previous playthroughs, so this time I think I am going to just kind of go all out. There are some limitations to myself playing a Dark Urge playthrough, but I don't want to do Ascended Astarion on a normal playthrough, but with a Dark Urge playthrough, I feel like wifing up an Ascended Astarion would be just chef's kiss. It just tops off the Dark Urge because I'm encouraging everybody to be like literally the worst versions of themselves. This is my hot girl toxic Dark Urge character, I suppose. So I really wanted to lean into the theme of like the ball spawn kind of stuff, the red and the black, really kind of perpetuating that demonic, dark, gothic vibe with the character, especially since she is a warlock. I just feel like it works really well, especially with the face tattoo and the scars that I have set as it is. While we're finishing this up, because you can see I've dabbled, I tried to think of anything else that I might want to play, but I finally decided on, Oath of, or not Oath, because we're not a paladin. Pact, our subclass being the Great Old One, I felt like was very chef's kiss. Um, because Ball is one of the like the OGs, right? So it makes sense to have the Great Old One as a subclass for this warlock here. And as you can see, we decided to name her Sorsha. So I am very excited. And as we finish up our Guardian, we are probably just going to jump straight into things. I will let you know that most of the exploration and minute combat is going to be sped up, and I hope you enjoy the rest of this video. Thanks!
The blood in your head thrums and pounds. That pounding blood obscures who you are. An overwhelming loss of memory. How you ended up amidst these hellish flames is just as hidden. You have nothing in your skull, besides your name and a headache. But you are in danger.
When I clicked this option, I was a little bit surprised that it still said the Dark Urge instead of Sorsha, just because I know that it says the Dirge if you are naming yourself Dirge, but that was not something that I had expected. Like I said, we've sped through all of the exploration stuff because I find that it's very tedious. This playthrough, I'm definitely trying to challenge myself to explore more, because by watching other YouTube videos, watching content, I found that there was a lot of stuff that I missed on my first couple of playthroughs. My favorite thing to do, however, is to save the little brain thing that is in this guy. I compare him to my dog, which is probably bad. Not the man, but the brain. Because the vibes just match so well. And I actually think we are getting to come up to another Dark Urge thought here in just a moment once we release this brain from its head. So we're just gonna go ahead, prep everything, and get ready to smoke because it's about to be that time. I think we've got a few more conversations to go before then, but we are pretty stinking close. And we have saved us with a great roll there. I do find that at the beginning of the game I have better rolls than later on, so we might have to add in some additional challenges to that.
Your fingers
and here we go. Here is that Dirge thought process.
To shreds.
Spare the creature, any injuries might weaken it is the one that I ended up going with, but she did offer to poke a bunch of holes in it, so cheers, that's an out-of-pocket thought. I forgot to mention that today we are toking on Super Buff Cherry from the Weed Box Dispo. It is a hybrid and it is 27.53% THCA. They do offer free shipping and all of the bud that they offer on their website is legal. It's all THCA, so I'd recommend checking them out if you are looking for some more options outside of what might be available at your local smoke shop. And as you can see, we have adopted our little friend, our little brain, us, apparently. Which I always thought was an interesting name because I suppose it is just more than one being in there. But I always seem to grab this guy and bring him on along. It's just another set of limbs to use to do combat as we kind of brute force our way through the Nautiloid.
To give you our gift. A gift.
We are coming up to where we first see Lae'zel, but first, I suppose we're going to talk to us a little bit more. Maybe they can provide more offers, or knowledge, advice, insight. That is what we are looking for. Sorry, we are already 2 tokes in. I've not smoked at all today, and this is hitting pretty hard.
Escaping a great evil. We are going to the hell.
Alright, so it turns out we are in Avernus. I never actually paid enough attention to notice that. But here's our girl, Lae'zel, who I do believe we are going to keep permanently in our party because she's not going to judge me for letting my dirge tendencies show.
A dragon's wing, a silver sword, and a flash of your face seen through the strange woman's eyes.
Oh. My head. What is this? Skvar. You are no thrall. Vlaakith blesses me this day. Together, we might survive. We carry mind flayer parasites. Unless we escape, unless we are cleansed, our bodies and minds will be tainted and twisted. Within days, we will be Geich, mind flayers.
Now, when I am doing this opening conversation, I typically don't really pay attention to things unless it's going to be something that has negative impact. But even then, sometimes I am very bad at remembering to not pick the bad thing. But then I have to remind myself it is okay to do that, as it's a Dark Urge playthrough. So we're gonna do some bad things. There's gonna be some things that I definitely will feel very bad about doing. We'll see some of that in the next episode as we make our way to the Druid's Grove. I will say that combat is also going to be sped up unless it's like major combat, and I don't think we see too much of that until later on in the game. I almost said in the campaign, like we're playing real D&D. Later on in the game, so everything I think in this first episode is just going to be sped up, because at this point I don't feel like there's going to be anything that's really worthwhile to watch. We're really just exploring, you know, getting some free levels. We try to get some loot, but we're not really doing a whole lot here. We're just doing some world building. It's session 1. We're having fun. We're learning our characters, learning what our spells do, learning what actions we have with our party members. Like, it's a real session 1. It's not going to be anything that's like straight up in your face. You're fighting a big bad guy now. We're just learning our characters here.
Have I been this way before? Something good here, I hope.
We have no time for stragglers.
And of course, as per usual, we are going to release Shadowheart. She's also going to be a permanent member of our party. Just like Lae'zel, surprisingly enough, she doesn't judge you all that much for not being good. And I know it's just because of Shar, but we're definitely gonna keep Shadowheart bad for this playthrough, because that's the point, right? We are the Dark Urge. Everybody is the worst version of
The console
themselves.
appears dormant. The console hums to life.
as you can see,
Nothing
we
in the
had a
appearance of the device betrays
not so
its
successful
purpose.
roll to see what the
It could do
console
anything.
does. But thankfully, with our illithid powers, we are going to be able
Suddenly,
to
you
open
feel a
this.
hideous
We just have to do some
squirming in your head.
touchy-feelies with the brain first.
Parasite. Then discomfort fades, and another sensation washes over you. Connection. Authority.
And of course, at a 2 DC for wisdom, I think we're gonna pass that very easily. We've got the bonuses, we've got everything that we could possibly need for that.
A shiver runs across your mind. You feel sated.
I do think we are also going to really abuse our illithid powers in this playthrough. I don't know how many tadpoles that I'm going to eat, but I don't think I will end up eating the last tadpole. We're just gonna continue to slaughter people. So
Her gratitude is mixed with wariness, because you have a gift with you.
You keep dangerous company. Fair point. Looks like there's plenty of fighting ahead. Let me come with you. We can get off this ship and watch each other's backs along the way. Shadowheart. One moment.
and of course she has to get
It's
her
nothing.
silly little
Trust
artifact
me. Enough of this chatter. We need to get to the helm.
and be super secretive about it because why not,
Lead on.
right? I will say I did smoke a little bit while actually recording this content. So if there are some parts that are a little bit slower or I take a little bit longer to answer, that would be why. I don't know why I always like come and do this part. I obviously have to loot the chest, which has my modded gear and stuff in there because we've got the transmog mod and we had to get basket full of everything in
As you
order
place your hand
to
on the
really
pod,
figure
you
out
hear something.
what we wanted to look like.
Presence connected
And
to the
we'll
pod,
get to see kind of
commanding
a
the
sneak
person
peek of what
inside.
our outfit looks like closer
Change.
to the end of the video. And I'm also using Reshade. I know it keeps coming in and out at the top,
Change her.
but that's
Change to
okay.
the pull of a lever. How? If we are not purified, this may be our fate.
Cannot be our fate. I've got a long road ahead. Breathe quiet. Move with care. Should mind my step.
You can see I'm trying to remember my keybinds. It's been a while since I'd played before this, but that's okay. Like I said, we are learning everything again, so this is gonna be a great time, I think,
Once
overall.
inside,
I
do as
love
I
playing
say.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Keep it
I
you,
love the
challenge.
whole
I'll
aspect
trust
of
my own judgment.
being able to be somebody different, like the fantasy aspect of everything. I have been in multiple D&D campaigns, and I'm actually getting ready to start DMing another campaign. So, like I said, I love this game. It is very fun to me. It's challenging. It makes me think. It's one of my favorite games to play on the side.
Thrall, connect the nerves of the transponder. We must escape. Now.
Do it. We will deal with the Geich after we escape.
Connect the nerves. Nerves. We will connect them.
Now I know technically this would be considered larger combat, but this is going to be a bit of a long one. I always try to get the sword from the tiefling boss. This time I ended up not being able to get it. I messed it up. Literally nothing, it felt, was hitting against this guy. However, our little intellect devourer is going hard. He is doing everything that he can in his power to set us up for success. The first thing that I did notice in a balanced playthrough versus Explorer, because I do enjoy an easier playthrough if it's something that I'm just doing for fun. I'm not doing any content or anything for it. It's just that much easier. Look, I know it's kind of on par for Shadowheart to miss everything, but the amount of misses that we had were kind of unbelievable. So it makes it feel like it's better rolling, I guess, if that makes sense. It feels more realistic compared to not. See, look, there's our first miss. I think this is gonna be a miss as well. No, it hits. All right, never mind. Yeah, there we go. Just miss, miss, miss.
Hurry, before they strike.
I think this is gonna be another miss. Nope, another save, which might as well be a miss in my eyes. And at this point, I have just given up on attempting to attempting to get that sword. We're not that far into the game, and we're coming up to the Druid's Grove, so I do believe we will end up having the gold in order to purchase at least something better than what we are currently using. You can see that I've taken long enough in this combat to bring in the other two demons. I said tieflings at the start. I did mean demons, but that's okay. We are just kind of going on along as we can. And we have finally exited the Nautiloid. This is one of my favorite cutscenes. I try not to skip cutscenes unless it's the ones at the very beginning, because I'm not going to sit there and watch that, nor am I going to sit and make you all watch that. I will say I did not mean to do this on Shadowheart. I really wanted to do it on Sorsha, but it is what it is. I don't know why the textures decided they were just going to partially load in here. We're kind of rolling with it. I've not seen any more issues in any cutscenes after that, but it does make the goblins look like... it looks like I'm playing low graphics vanilla World of Warcraft when it like first came out, or rather when I first started playing. We have finally landed on the beaches of Faerun, the beaches of our new home for the next act. I don't know how many episodes it's going to take me to get through Act 1, but I am very excited. This is the one that I definitely explored the least in, because I was just kind of going from point A to B to C to D and continuing on from there.
Your past is still an aching
And we are coming
void.
up
If you
to
don't find a way to
our
remove the
last
tadpole
questionable
buried in your
thought
brain
of the
soon, your
episode.
future will be as blank
As
as
soon
your
as we
past.
approach this
Your head whispers
body up
vengeance.
here. But
I can't
first,
wait to slice
we
your way
need to
forth,
play a little
seeking
bit
whatever
of
wrought this tragedy
Fashion
upon you.
Gate. It's like Fashion Souls, but better. A few minutes later. Well, bam, we're back. We've got a new fit. We've decided to do the black version of the Baldur's Gate garb. We're gonna loot this guy first, and then we're going to get ready to smoke because it's time to be
Drink
out
in
of
the
pocket.
pungent corpse. Since you awoke on the ship, your mind has been cold
And because there's going to
empty.
be a lot of
Something
dialogue here, I'm just going to
stirs.
go ahead and
With your
smoke.
hands close to this body, you know nothing of why, but you find a half smile flittering across your face. As soon
Ooh,
as you delve
that was a
into
rough
your
one.
mind, it is filled with flashes of 1,000
that's
different
okay.
dead. There is something
As we have landed
unknown
on
and
the beaches,
unspeakable
it is
deep
time to
within your
finally
heart.
say goodbye. That's going to be the end of this episode where we're just kind of towering over Shadowheart. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoy, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, everybody!